Hello, movie lovers. Welcome to my channel, Quick Reel. Today, we're going to recap the movie Oppenheimer. This man is Julius Robert Oppenheimer Robert, for short. He was forced to undergo a closed trial, aimed at destroying his reputation as the most influential physicist of his time. Then from a different perspective, there was Lewis Strauss, who had to go through a trial to determine his fitness to be U.S. Secretary of Commerce. He told the story of the first time he met Robert. Back to Robert. He proclaimed the beginning of his fame as one of the most influential physicists of his time. It all started when Robert was studying physics in Germany and realized that he was really interested in physics and was a child prodigy. Around this time, Germany developed a revolutionary theory of quantum mechanics. After years of studying, he felt that he had become an expert in quantum mechanics and physics, so he applied for a job and became a lecturer at a campus in the Netherlands. Then he met Isner Isel KLA, who introduced him to a very famous German physicist named Heisenberg. In 1927, Robert finally received his PhD campuses. He then taught quantum mechanics, which is still rare in America. He was also close friends with one of the world's top physicists, Ernest Lawrence. At first, he was the only student of Robert's. But as time went on, more and more students became interested in his lessons and enjoyed discussions with him. Later, Lawrence invited Robert to dinner with others at the event. Robert's younger brother, Frank, also came there. Robert met a woman named Jean who believed in communist ideology. After meeting over time, they became close and became lovers. That wasn't all. Robert also met a woman named Kitty, and they became very close, eventually marrying Robert. Although Jean was disappointed in the marriage, Robert still kept in touch with her. The next day, when Robert was on campus, Lawrence told Robert that he could be spied on by the Germans, as they had successfully built a new bomb that was believed to have very high explosive power. Therefore, he said, "We need to be careful." He had previously studied abroad in Germany and could have been considered a threat. And sure enough, a general named Leslie Groves comes along and invites Robert to join a project called the Manhattan Project. The purpose of this program was to produce a bomb that could compete with the Jeremy's bomb, which was more advanced in the production of new bombs. The United States was left behind in terms of weapons and could have suffered a crushing defeat against Germany in World War II. Upon hearing this, Robert agreed to lead the Manhattan Project. He then asked Leslie to build 4 laboratories in a place called Los Alamos, accessible by train, and a dedicated small town in the center where workers could bring their families and receive permanent services for a very long time. Additionally, the location was suitable for this top-secret research and far from any residential areas where bomb testing would take place. So Leslie agreed and quickly accepted Robert's request during development. Robert and Leslie met a famous American physicist and invited him to join the project. Some of them disagree because they have to stay in remote areas for long periods of time. However, since the contribution of each country was needed to defeat the German army in the World War I, there was no choice but to participate. Isaac, who was ordered to join the Manhattan Project, hesitated because this plan could cause serious problems, which even serious problems could destroy the world and lead to an even more terrible war. Still, he had no choice but to serve his country. Simply put, the city was successfully built. Robert immediately started the project with other physicists, but soon after, Robert discovered a problem caused by a miscalculation. A physicist named Edward Teller confused everyone. Robert thought Teller's calculations were wrong. Robert was confused and asked Albert Einstein for help. After meeting with Einstein and presenting Teller's calculations, Einstein concluded that a bomb using this calculation would be so large that it could even destroy the Earth's atmosphere the next day. Robert invited Kitty and her 2 children to live with her in Los Alamos, as his projects required him to stay there frequently. Robert and other physicists then discussed the materials used in the core of an atomic bomb, uranium and plutonium, which are expected to have an explosive power equivalent to 1,000 tons of TNT. However, Taylor proposed using hydrogen because he thought it would have a greater explosive force and could achieve an explosive force comparable to 1 million tons of TNT. Instead of the better options suggested by Taylor, Robert still chose to use uranium and plutonium. They then discussed a model for the fusion trigger that causes the explosion. Soon after, a physicist named Klaus Fox arrived to join the Manhattan Project after Robert recruited him. Leslie, who had a habit of recruiting. Anyone at will was furious, as this was a highly classified project, and spies from Russia or Germany could be secretly working there if he was not careful. Hearing this, Robert agreed and asked Leslie to scout his younger brother, Frank, and his best friend Lawrence. The next day, Lawrence and Frank come to help Robert with his Manhattan project in between projects. Robert secretly met with Jean several times without Kitty's knowledge. They even spend the night together. A few days later, Robert's colleagues boasted at a meeting that the bomb was such a breakthrough that they were not creating a new weapon, but a new story. One day, Robert received word that Jean had committed suicide in the bathroom of her apartment, probably due to depression. However, she had a different opinion if Jean was killed by the American government, because like the Germans, he adhered to communist ideology. Jean's death was a huge blow to Robert. After Robert dealt with his grief, he and others ran into problems as his research did not show any significant progress. Meanwhile, Taylor had infuriated other physicists by working on a hydrogen bomb that he did not want to build. So the other physicists wanted Taylor to leave the project. Finally, Robert intervened and started correcting all the tasks of his colleagues. Klaus Fox was appointed by Robert to replace Taylor in his duties. Finally, in order not to lose Taylor, Robert allowed him to do the research he wanted and invited him to meet once a week. After the issues were reviewed, production of the atomic bomb finally progressed. They began building a model of the atomic bomb, built a tower for subsequent bomb tests, and also tested municipal bombs, sensing that progress had been made. Leslie asked Robert to complete the bomb in July. Robert was inevitably forced to agree, even though he had told Leslie beforehand that the bomb would be completed in September. Robert arrives at a meeting attended by several officials and military generals. They discussed where to drop the atomic bomb on Japan after the Nazis were defeated, even though the bomb was originally created to destroy Germany. The original plan was to drop a bomb on Tokyo, but it was rejected because the number of casualties would be low. Eventually, they all agreed to drop atomic bombs on two cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The experiment went as expected, and people were very satisfied because thanks to the atomic bomb, Japan would be defeated and World War II would end. Everyone at Los Alamos praised Robert's excellent leadership in research. The next day, after a successful experiment, they succeeded in producing 2 atomic bombs of larger size and explosive power. 2 atomic bombs would soon be dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki after Robert successfully created an atomic bomb. Robert somehow felt that his invention could spark a new war between nations. On August 6th, the Japanese city of Hiroshima became the first city to successfully drop an atomic bomb. Of course, the soldiers were happy about America's landslide victory, but the physicists were not because, thanks to their invention, many innocent civilians were also affected with America's great victory. Robert Oppenheimer's name became known around the world. After that, Robert went to an event and talked to many people who were very happy about his invention. However, Robert continued to feel guilty for the deaths of so many people in Japan. He even began to hallucinate the next day. Robert met with U.S. President Harry S. Truman. During the meeting, Robert told the president that cooperation in the nuclear field needs to develop, as Russia will certainly seek to develop a bomb more powerful than what it has. Upon hearing this statement, the president ordered the expansion of Los Alamos to improve explosive testing and production after sacrificing himself for the nation. He faced many problems. One of these was his problems with Lewis, who he felt had humiliated him during a trial over the export of atomic bomb materials. Lewis hated Robert even more because he felt that by introducing Robert to Einstein, he had made Robert hate Albert Einstein. So to investigate Robert's past, Lewis contacted a man named William Borden. He was close to several Germans and was also accused of being a Russian spy. Because of this, Robert had to undergo a closed trial, and Lewis ordered a man named Roger Robb to defeat Robert. The trial revealed that Robert's past mistakes, such as appointing a project member who turned out to be a spy, were at fault. At the trial, Lewis presented a testator named David, who was definitely on his side. Instead, David revealed that many scientists actually hated Lewis. This comment immediately led to Ludwig's failure to become Minister of Trade. After various allegations against him, Robert was eventually declared loyal to the country, but lost access to his project, making it impossible for him to participate in the development of the HBO, led by terror. Despite this, Robert graciously accepted the outcome of the trial. In the end, it turns out that Robert didn't incite Einstein to hate Lewis, but they both discuss a moment in the past when Robert discussed the formula he was developing for the effects of an atomic bomb explosion, the possibility of destroying the world, and the movie ends here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more exciting movie recaps. See you in the next one.